kind of the history of where this came about, and this is going to be kind of a personal testimony, but hopefully, we'll be able to relate to it, was this idea of, problems that I couldn't solve. My biggest problem was I didn't know where I should start. I didn't know what to do. And the reason for that was because I think it's very easy, at least for me, to get overwhelmed because there's so many different systems. And the other really big problem I couldn't solve, why was I consistently, negative expectancy? I think of myself as a pretty good problem solver, but if I don't know the problem, I can't solve it. And I didn't know, is this problem me? Is it the market? Is it my system? I don't even know what it is. How do I fix this? I felt like I was working hard to lose money, and you get more and more frustrated, at least I did, as time goes by. Do I keep doing the same thing and just try harder, or like, do I quit? I don't really want to quit. I don't like quitting stuff. So what do I do here? To me, the conclusion of all these kinds of feelings led to a lot of jumping around, a lot of system hopping, jumping from one system to another because I figured it must be the system that's the problem. So what happens then is you never let the edge play itself out, right? If I kept changing my rules all the time, if I wasn't changing systems, I was changing rules constantly. So what this led to really was a lot of booming and busting, and that was really on in good times. It was booming and busting. It was often just consistently losing. One of the things about trading is that we can try our hardest and it feels like it's not good enough. And that's not a fun place to be. And so that's kind of, the darkness before the dawn. The way he explained it to me and why I think it always works is because it's really a specific, very tuned process to take the ego and the pressure out of trading. The way to think about it is that it's like turning a crank on a system, right? We commit to a set of rules. Those rules aren't me. They're written on a piece of paper. And then I'm just turning the crank. All I'm responsible for is turning the crank, right? What comes out is not under my jurisdiction, right? All parts of this are built to focus on process. I think we have to be reminded of that a lot when we're trading. It's very simple with the Kata challenge. The structure is one time frame, right? One symbol, because I'd say 90% of the trading errors and bad results come from over trading or having too large of a span of control that we can't manage. So the one time frame, one symbol, that's about as much as you can reduce it, right? You can't reduce it more than that. It's simple forms, right? The word kata is a Japanese term for martial arts originally, but it's kind of now applied to a lot of other things. And it's this idea of practicing a certain specific single form over and over again until we get good at it, right? Until we can understand it at a deep level. There's only 3 patterns for the Kata challenge. They're all pattern recognition, rules-based discretionary systems, and we'll explain them very well. And that's all there is to it. From a perspective point of view, I think what can happen is we can start to see the markets a lot more objectively as opposed to something threatening. When we keep acting in kind of this safe way and doing the right thing, things start to feel easier, right? We gain some confidence that we can act in the right way in the markets. And this is just an example. The first 100 days when I was trading over a couple of months, I was doing just one pattern at a time. I don't think it's any actually spectacular results. It's just the nature of following a simple rule set consistently is really all that is. And 45R I think was pretty good.